Blanket bogs are a familiar element of the Irish countryside, covering approximately 1/8 of the island of Ireland. Although many people associate them with upland areas, particularly in the east of the country, the frequent year-round rainfall needed for blanket bog development means that they can occur right down to sea level in the wetter western parts of the country. Despite their widespread occurrence, the behaviour of water in blanket bogs and how they benefit the environment remains poorly understood. The 4-year EPA funded study towards the quantification of blanket bog ecosystem services to water, or CUBES, aimed to address this knowledge gap, with researchers at Queen's University Belfast and University College Dublin investigating the eco-hydrology of Irish blanket bogs and the ecosystem services they provide. The saying, familiarity breeds contempt, could easily be applied to Irish blanket bogs. The low fertility, waterlogged conditions, and their occurrence in economically disadvantaged parts of Ireland have resulted in many of them being drained or altered for other uses. These uses range from traditional activities such as peat cutting for fuel to more recent activities such as developments for wind power facilities. Many of these developments have visible impacts on bogs, while others are more subtle. We need to be able to state how much conditions have changed if we're to understand the wider impact of these developments on the environment. On the other hand, streams draining blanket bogs are important sources of drinking water, not only for remote rural areas, but also for built-up areas such as large parts of Dublin, where many of these streams also host some of our rarest aquatic species. Damage to blanket bogs can affect not only stream flow and water quality, but also the animals and plants in the rivers and streams that drain them. However, assessing the impact of disturbance proves challenging, particularly since little to no research has been undertaken on blanket bog hydrology in areas unaffected by drainage. To get a better idea of how human activities on blanket bog have affected the ecosystem services they provide, the CUBES project aimed to compare blanket bog hydrology from intact areas by continuously monitoring various parts of the hydrological cycle with conditions in areas that are more degraded. Following this approach, along with ecological mapping and water quality sampling, has provided a way to assess how much ecosystem services have been affected by developments. Overall, the data collected by the CUBES project have provided a basis for comparing the financial benefits of land use activities such as drainage and forestry on blanket bog with their wider environmental and economic impacts. This allows decision makers to determine if developments on blanket bog are economically viable and sustainable.